Hi. Thank you so much for staying tuned. Thank you for coming here again. We are doing this bigger, better this year. My name is Marian Mikali Ndung'u. Thank you so much for staying tuned. If it is your very first time, karibu sana to this platform where we talk about everything marriage and relationships. Do enjoy. If you like the content that we create, and at the end of this video, kindly subscribe and help me share. Don't forget to hit the notification bell as well so that you can receive updates every time we upload. Otherwise, karibuni sana. Today we are talking about keys to a successful marriage. So what is a successful marriage? Is it having a good wife? For some of you, you want a virtuous woman, someone who is submissive, and that for you, you consider as a successful marriage. For another, it is just having successful businesses, having your children being very successful and morally upright, raising them in the ways maybe of the Lord, and for you, that is success. For another, it is having effective communication in your marriage, and you consider that success. For another, it is just living, you and your partner being friends, and you consider that a successful marriage. For others, is just the fact that you guys communicate and the communication is effective and you are just having an awesome time in your home. So what are the most important things in a marriage? Okay, we need to have communication where it is effective and you receive the correct response. There is supposed to be respect in your marriage. You need to have set boundaries for the two of you where you know that, you know what, I have my time, you have your time. You set boundaries so that you guys can relate. There needs to be trust in your marriage. You need to trust one another. When I go out there, you trust that I am taking care of myself. You trust that I will not go out of our marriage. So that trust is very important. There needs to be support in your marriage where you support each other to accomplish goals and to take the other person to the next level. So what are the keys to a successful marriage, if you would ask? I think that one would be, you need to be independent, and independence helps you guys because when you are independent, you don't feel like you are a burden to the other person. And when you are independent, even in decision making, you are not so dependent, and that means that you will not be a burden to the other person. So the being independent is very important to have a successful marriage. You need to have your own things that you're doing. You need to have your set of friends. You need to just have another life with your friends and everything so that you can continue to develop who you are. And it will help you to become a whole person so that you don't bring baggages to one party. Okay, so be very independent. Number two is be a good listener. We normally talk about communication in marriage, and that is also another key, but you need to be a good listener. Why are you supposed to be a good listener? So that you can hear what this other person is saying. What is your spouse saying? Don't just listen to respond. My husband usually tells me when we are communicating that I just listen so that I can just give an answer. But be a good listener. Be intentional. What is this person telling me? Am I really understanding what they are saying? Because if you listen well, you will get the message that is being communicated, and it is so easy for you also to respond, and you will give the right response. So of course, be a good listener. Another thing is just decide that you will agree to disagree. You will always have different opinions. Everyone has their own things. We have been brought up differently, so we won't agree on everything. So always make sure that there is that space of just let's agree to disagree. Whatever you're saying is right as per you. Whatever I am saying is right per me. So all of us are right. We are just disagreeing on the fact that whatever you're saying is yours and I'm saying what is mine. Because unless you decide that that is something that you guys have to deal with, you will always fight about everything. I have had my 20-something years of being taught one thing. You have had your over 30 years of being taught whatever you've been taught. And when we come together, we will not immediately agree, and it will take a while before we actually say enyewe hapa we agree. So you need to agree to disagree, and when you disagree, it does not mean that you don't love each other. It just means that you have different opinions, and both opinions should be respected, and as much as they are different, leave it at that and work on what so far you agree, as you work on hashing out the things that you do not agree upon. Another thing is the communication bit. Make sure you're communicating and the communication is effective, because for as long as you guys are not communicating, then your marriage will be doomed to fail. But for you to have a successful marriage, you need to communicate every other time, so that you can know each other, you can understand one another, of course, and that is the importance of communication. Another thing is learn to forgive one another. We will hurt each other in marriages, and some of us already, even as you listen to this vlog, you have been hurt, but you need to forgive one another. Okay, so another thing is you also need to accept your spouse. Your spouse is your spouse. When you met, sometimes we always give our best foot. You know, there are things that we hide from each other, but when you have already said I do, you accept that person wholeheartedly. Whatever they bring to the table, that is who they are. If they're very easily irritable, that is the person that you fell in love with. So it is up to you to work the dynamics of what you have already accepted and said I do too. Yeah, so accept that person. It will make your life easier, because for as long as you do not accept them, they will never make you happy, and you will focus on the negatives instead of on the positive things that this person has. So accept them, love them for who they are, nurture them, and whatever you think they don't have, help them grow it, nurture it in them, give them the room and the space to grow and to develop some of these habits. Okay? Another thing is respecting one another, and don't just respect one another in public, where as a wife, unajua, because you have left the house, you need to act like, let me just respect him because I don't want people to see that I am usually very rude to him when we are in the house. You need to respect this person both privately and publicly. When you start respect in the private, it will be so easy and it will come so naturally even in public. You won't struggle. It won't be like I am just doing this for show. It is who I am. It is what we do. It is who we are. I am not very quick to hush and make that person keep quiet. You respect them enough. You listen to them and you allow them to actually be themselves, okay? If you don't agree with something, don't immediately just tell them, you know what, I don't like that in front of people. Yeah, you can hash it out in the bedroom, or you can talk about it later, but in the meantime, respect that person, respect their space, respect their words, respect their opinions and their ideas, both privately and publicly. Another thing is let go of the fantasy. I have been a very open person and very open-minded. I loved watching movies. I loved watching romantic movies. They always ended with and they live together ever after. The love, the taking of flowers, walking barefoot in the at the beach, and all these things that we have watched in movies, where you see fantasies of girls and ladies being bought for jets, being taken out on date nights with a plane, you know. And I know that we have these fantasies of what you want your man to do for you, what as a man you want your wife to do for you, and now you're married and you are expecting a lot, and this person can barely do even 70% of what you consider is romantic and the fantasies that you have built for yourself. So you need to let that go, so that you can appreciate the small gifts, you can appreciate the small things that this person is doing, because you need to be happy, you need to enjoy the company of the person that you're with. But for as long as you carry the fantasies, you will never appreciate what is done for you by your spouse. So let go of the fantasy and enjoy the here and now. And as the person gets promoted and as you guys build a life together, when they are very successful, please allow them to also now do greater things. But for now, appreciate the small and let go of the fantasies. If you want to have a romantic man, if you want a lady that will do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, let go of the fantasy. Appreciate. And we have already said accept the person. So let go of the fantasy. Let go of the 6-pack. Let go of the figure 8. Work with what you have. Even if you married the figure 8, now they have given birth, they have changed, they have grown. Work with what you got. Okay? Good. Another thing is don't be in that place of wanting to control your spouse. They are not puppets on a string. This person is a whole human being. They have a brain of their own. They have been thinking on their own. If some of you have already met after all of you have been living separately, so they know how to handle bills, they know how to work, they have actually practiced living on their own, the independence that we are talking about. So don't come to someone's life and now you want to control the kind of friends they have. You want to lecture them on the time that you want them to be coming home. It is good when you decide on it together, but don't control where you are just giving orders and you expect someone to follow to the latter. Now, if you have already agreed on things, like for example, today I leave the house and we have agreed with my husband we're meeting at 5 p.m. and where I'm going something happens and I will be late. What you do is you communicate this and this won't be happening because of this and this and this. So please forgive me, or let's postpone if it's something that we can postpone. If we can't, then say that you'll be doing it later. But he shouldn't expect me, because we said we are meeting at 5. For me, whatever I have gone, things have gone the way they have gone, but I have to somehow sacrifice. I need to go out of my way because I want to make sure that, because I told him 5, I need to be where we said we are meeting at 5. That again becomes a bit too hectic for whoever has to meet the standards that you guys have set for one another. So give room for for challenges and such things to happen. If something happens, divorce you think you're the only person that loves me. I have options. I know a lot of us use that to manipulate the significant other, because you think that if I just tell him that, he will pull up his socks. And it's true sometimes. When you slap them with a divorce card, at times it works. But you see, when you overuse it, again, you become cliche. It will be like, this one just says that they will do that all the time. And okay, you do your worst. You want to divorce me, divorce me. You might use that word, and you are using it because you want to threaten this person and bring them to line. But what you're doing is you're causing them to drift away, because every time someone sees that this one always wants to leave, they will not invest as much as they should in that marriage, and you will notice that there's a drift. Instead of you guys coming together, he will not invest too much. He will not invest as much, because at the end of the day, you have already put that thought in their mind that you can leave anytime. So where they need to invest, they are not as invested, because they feel like even you're in this marriage with one foot outside. Okay, so just put all your eggs in this one basket. Don't have one leg in and the other one is outside, so it's like you're waiting for something so that you can run away. No, you have to be there. Okay, be invested. Another thing is pray together. We talked about this even in our previous vlog, where we are saying that as long as you guys are praying together, you can move mountains together. You can agree on things. There are things that you have written down as as a unit. You said that, in the next 5 years we want to achieve A, B, C, and D. You have goals, short-term and long-term goals. So as long as you're praying together, you're praying and actualizing these things. You pray until these things happen. Yeah. So continue praying together. Pray for one another. Pray together. Agree. Pray over your children. As a man, speak over your wife. As a wife, pray for your husband. Pray for them to receive favor even in the marketplace. And such dynamics of prayer you need to invest, because of course marriage is a God idea, and God will put you through, and He will guide you through all the challenges that will arise, have risen. Yeah, everything. God is the one who will help us even to have a successful marriage. So remember to pray together. Another thing is extend grace. When someone hurts you, especially in the workplace, you're very quick to say, I understand her, that's just the way she is, that's the way they are. Our HR is very moody, so today I won't talk to her. Today or the other day, you always have a way of dealing with people outside your circle because you already know them. Extend the same grace for your partner. Because you live with this person, don't expect them to be 100% perfect, okay? Because that you've told them already, you've already communicated, I don't like A, B, C, D, you expect them to follow everything to the latter. Sometimes they will go out of their way. how much you love them. Tell them as much as possible how you appreciate them and all the things that they're doing. Yeah, so don't take them for granted. Another thing is please date, and date as much as possible. You know, we are talking about having a successful marriage. Every time I'm changing, every day I'm becoming different, I'm growing, I'm maturing. There are things that when I was younger I considered important that maybe when I get to my 50s will not be as important. So for me, for my spouse to understand me, he needs to take me out on dates and for us to have that conversation, because date nights are for you to know each other and to grow together. So of course, take the time, date, okay? Don't make that marriage boring. Now, because you spend a lot of time together, you need to also go outside of that home so that you guys can continue just keeping and adding spice to that marriage, okay? Another thing is be romantic. You know, do the small things that your wife, your husband considers romantic. If for him romance is just coming and washing his feet and doing some massage on him once in a while, why don't you do that? It is just a way of appreciating and making him feel that, you know what, you're my love, you're my person, I love you. So just put the romance. If it is if you're the husband and your wife loves gifts, why don't you just bring her flowers, chocolates once in a while? You know, sometimes I know that finances can be targeted to specific goals. We have objectives that we need to meet and targets and all that, but go out of your way, you know, spare like 30-40 shillings, get her a chocolate, you know, a sweet, just something, do something. Write a romantic note, throw in his bag while he's going to work, do something. Send a text message, say, I love you baby, I miss you, I can't wait to do nasty stuff to you tonight. You know, just do something. Add the romance, because it will also help with the spicing up of your relationship. Another thing is keep the intimacy alive. Don't be those ones of programming sex. Yeah, my husband was making jokes some time back, and he was telling me, you know, there are couples that actually have a timetable that, you know, on Wednesday at 8 is the time that we have sex. So when it is Wednesday and it is past 8, you wait until the next Wednesday for us to do this. And I know there are people who do that and they schedule, because of course they have so much to do, and unless they schedule it in their program, they will forget or they will just ignore. And it's not like they're forgetting because they don't love you, it is because they have so much to do, and the minute they sit down to rest, they just sleep and they are carried because they are too tired. So you know what, I need to actually write it down, because if I don't, my schedule will not allow me. Some of you are the ones that travel here and there, so of course you need to schedule. I get that bit, but don't schedule it and then it becomes, now it's like a rule and a routine. You can't be spontaneous with your intimacy. And again, the intimacy keeps the marriage and you guys together. It brings you, it connects you. So don't also limit it. Yeah, for as much as you can, be intimate. Again, give compliments. You know, if there's something, I know as women we like being told, you look nice today, you have changed something, what have you done, you look beautiful, yeah, I like your hair, you have taken time, you know, because as we take time, we prepare ourselves, we clean ourselves well, we smell nice. I go out of my way, I buy a perfume and then I apply and you don't even notice. You know, give compliments, appreciate that this person is actually doing something to look nice for you, as much as they are doing it for themselves. Sometimes we do things for you. We will go out of our way to buy maybe the nightgowns you like, something sexy to seduce you, you know. Compliment, and it won't kill you and it won't make you a lesser being by just complimenting. Women, compliment your man. Yeah, when he looks nice, when he has gone and he has done a good shave, compliment him. Yeah, when he looks nice, as much as you're the one who was ironing the clothes, after he has worn them and he looks nice, just tell him, you look wonderful baby. Be the first person to appreciate this person, because when you don't, someone else will do it for you, and when they do it, emotions are shifted, and sooner or later, that is the first step of them going outside your marriage. So compliment, please. Again, to just finalize is just to say this: every successful marriage has taken work. And I will keep on saying this for as long as we are talking about marriage. It is work. So work yours until yours works, okay? Don't be so quick to look at outside there and say that person's marriage is working. It is working because they are using principles that I'm teaching you. So you can take them, use them so that yours can also work, okay? I am so happy that you guys stayed until the end of this video. It is an amazing video and I am so glad that you listened. Thank you so much. Pick a key, use it. Pick all of them, use them, let our marriages work. Sindio, I love you, I appreciate you, I thank God for you because you came, and I pray for your marriage that it is successful. Thank you so much for staying tuned. I have been Marion Mikali Ndung'u. And before I sign out, kindly, if you have tuned in, I know there are things that you would want us to talk about. Sometimes there are things that I might not think about initially, but kindly, I urge you, please give us feedback, send us your compliments. Tell us, what would you want us to talk about? What would you want us to address? I am soon bringing guests, and I want you to tell me the topics that you would want them to touch on areas in marriage, with relationships if you're a single person, but in dating, such things. Please do share. In terms of motivating yourself, what would you want to hear? What do you want us to speak about? And I will really, really appreciate. Thank you so much. God bless and have an awesome time. Bye bye.